What the fuck is up, party people? My name is Mystery. Welcome back to another episode of the FBL Podcast. Today, I'm joined with a little bit smaller of a group. We have James. Say hello.
Yo.
Jake.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hi.
All right, so we are going to talk about pretty much what happened in week one, just a little bit of a recap, so this shouldn't be 3 hours like the last one. So yeah, what do we want to talk about other than, do we want to start with the transactions?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, first transaction we have is Aaron dropping the Durant and the Persian adding Scizor and Lipard. I think it definitely makes him better. I don't think it's like a needle mover, but I think the team's better, I guess.
He got another defogger.
Yeah.
Still losing to Fairy.
I mean, Diancie isn't his fourth best Pokemon anymore, which I think helps.
Yeah.
I still... You can go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I still think the Inteleon should go, but at least he sacrifices a little bit of speed getting rid of Durant and Persian. Definitely makes his Dark type a lot worse. But I think Scizor, like that top four, is definitely very, very good. It's got a very good Volt Turn Core into Zard. Still, but yeah, I think I definitely would like another water over that to give it a more of a special breaking presence.
There's a lot of good
Inteleon can do it, but
I don't get the Inteleon. I really don't, because like I'm gonna go on tier list, but what for even 11? Is there anything 11 or below? Like Araquanid, I think that's better than Inteleon.
I think this team with Webs also kind of looks good too.
Yeah, like Webs with Zard is cool.
Oh yeah.
There's Sharpedo if you want to get that. There's still.
I mean, I can at least.
And Manaphy, I mean, that's still better than Inteleon.
The Inteleon doesn't help him at all. Like, he doesn't need the offense from it.
Well, it does help in the special department because it is like the one, I guess, quote unquote, special breaker on the team.
I guess that's true.
Or it could be, but like not really. It's more of the special sweeper, and Physical's just running this gen right now.
He could drop the Inteleon and Decidueye and grab like the Araquanid and then maybe a special attacker for Decidueye. I don't know. Is there a grass special attacker around his points?
I mean,
Shaman.
Still fine with Decidueye on this team.
I know
I don't
you're
think
a fan. I think that mon sucks, but
yeah.
I guess
I'm right there with
thing.
you. I personally don't like Decidueye either.
Mm-hmm.
Like the team just loses to go. Like I said, it loses to a Fairy. It really loses to Ghosts.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like the counters Lipard.
Yeah.
Like I build to lose to Ghosts a lot, but like this really loses to Ghosts.
How many points is Decidueye? It's 12. I mean,
you could get Shaman for the same amount. Or actually 1 point lower than Decidueye's Shaman, which is better in my opinion. But
I'd rather have Shaman than Decidueye, but that's, like I said, personal preference.
Shaman lost merit because of hidden power, but I still think it's better than Decidueye.
Yeah, not having like HP Fire or ground. I mean, no, it does get Earth Power, so I guess HP Fire is the big one.
Like it has coverage, but I feel like hidden power fire was the main thing it lost.
Mm-hmm. Overall, though, I mean, he lost 3-0 to who's Golden State Durants?
Darren,
okay.
It was kind of expected, just in terms of like the skill gap or at least the experience gap.
Mm-hmm.
Because it pretty much was just a match that boiled down to Darren clicking buttons with his breakers and then just killing things. Because also it was just like water resist for Dracovish was Inteleon and Decidueye, and amazing. Decidueye didn't even come. Nor did Toxicroak. So
yeah, he has that too.
I think if Darren wasn't like 6 to 8 months removed from Mons, I think Darren probably would have 6-0'd him.
Probably, yeah.
I think that's fair. His team's definitely good enough to win a bunch of games.
Oh, so. This was the Outrage game.
Yeah, the Outrage Dracovish.
Like I flipped Outrage instead of Fish's Ren when it was a play, but like it didn't lose him anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren's not a calcer, so I understand his thought process.
Yeah, like he said in match discussion, big fishy click buttons. I'm like, I laughed. I'm like, you know what? I can't even fault you on that.
That's kind of facts. Anyway, we can go on to Slink's transactions, which I think are pretty cool. A lot of people don't like Espeon. So he dropped, what was it, Landorus Incarnate for Tornadus T, and then Espeon for Musharna.
I think overall it kind of just makes the team better.
Yeah,
I made it a lot better.
Definitely. I like the It's a better defogger. He's not really just stuck into like Feeney having to be defog or Regieleki being. I mean, Regieleki doesn't mind Rapid Spin obviously, but I don't know, a little bit more versatility. Musharna honestly could be better than Espeon, and depending on the matchup, but I don't think it's a huge drop off nonetheless. So yeah.
The one thing I'm just noticing about Slink's team is, other than the Urshifu, sort of the Aggron, but Aggron I think is going to play defensive a lot in this team, is that Urshifu is the only real physical attacker he has.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Jake loves his physical Torn, but I don't think Slink would necessarily go that route this gen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the issue. Like, if Urshifu gets, like, parried like it did in Theo's game early like that, and say he loses it, then definitely breaking on the physical side could be tough. But Urshifu is really strong, so I don't know. I think he should be fine.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jake.
I think going off of that, saying like the team lacks the kind of physical presence, is that he's got a lot of deceptive physical threats. Because like I think I kind of showed a little bit last season with Superior, is that while you kind of suck not having hidden power, it does have an all right physical move pool with Sword Stance that it can be, kind of a surprise physical bring. Nidoqueen technically has a higher physical attack. Aggron, while probably most weeks will be some sort of like max special defense body press set, it still has the highest attack stat on his team with a very good move pool. And like you said, I love physical Torn. So like there's still options there to do it. It's just
Torn,
if anything, it's here. No, but it gets acrobatics. So typically it's like a bulk up acro set or flying gem. I spam flying gem all the time.
Yeah,
interesting.
I was about to say flying. Yeah, unreleased items are legal, so it has more options there.
Yeah, I think his team's super diverse. Like, it's really tough to come at it from, like, one specific angle, other than, I guess, yeah, if you load up on the special defense, it could be a little tough, but, I mean, Urshifu's right there, and that's one of the best, I don't know, punishers, if you really want to call it that, but just, he breaks everything, so...
It's just a team that if I'm building against this, I have no idea what he's bringing, other than the Lopunny and the Hippopotas are probably not coming.
Yeah. Well, I know he has plans for the Lopunny, too. There's, like, 2 games he wants to bring it to.
Yeah, like, it can have, like, switcheroo shenanigans and stuff like that. Hippopotas, it's just, like, I guess, a meme mascot pick.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a mascot.
It's just kind of like, I don't want to say my group, but, like, kind of the Tristan tree of people. We all love Hippopotas, so, yeah. I don't know. I think Slink... I like the transactions. I think it makes him better, and his team was already good before, so...
I think with this team, he probably wins 7 games.
I'm thinking he wins 8, and Jamal's drafting Delphox. I don't know.
I think he's my favorite for D3.
I think Slink's definitely a favorite for D3. If Noah turns it on, I think Noah would give him a good game next week.
Oh, definitely.
That's a great game. That is a really good game.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
That's probably game of the week in D3 for sure.
Speaking of Noah, Noah versus Taylor. How are we feeling?
I thought Taylor... wow.
That game was in his hands to win.
I'm going to say this the nicest way possible. Taylor couldn't have choked that game more with his Kartana.
Yeah.
I get he said he overpredicted, and he tried to defend it. But Noah was down in that game. Centiskorch was his only counter on the team to a Kartana. And there was no logical reason for Noah not to click the fire move in front of the +2 Kartana.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically, I think that, that swayed the game, and that put Noah out on top pretty much.
Well, I know James can back me up on this, and I'll let him talk about it a little bit more, but he makes these plays, like, his battling potential is there, but he definitely has, like, 1 or 2 plays a game, which, if it works out, it'll, like, completely flip the tide of a game, but if it doesn't, he'll completely throw it, and it's that mind fucking... I don't even know how to describe it, James, if you want to kind of go about it.
It's just how he plays. Like, he's very prediction heavy. I think we've already kind of seen that. But, like, he really tries to, like, act like he's the other player and stuff like that sometimes. And, like, I guess with a lot of the more D1 players and stuff, we think, there's no logical reason, like, we need to make the safer move, and most people will do that, and I think that he tries to make the move of, like, what if he does this? I think he gets in his own head.
Yeah, I think that was what I was going to say. It gets in his own head a lot, for sure. second
Yeah,
guesses
and he
himself.
starts like, because he's so like, especially when he starts getting predictions right, that's when he starts like you'll see him start trying to over predict and stuff.
He tries to stomp on your throat, but instead
Yeah.
he'll miss and break his foot. So yeah,
He goes down a rabbit hole of just overthinking things, and
Yeah,
it gets progressively
exactly.
worse as he gets right.
So like overall, I'm still confident that he can win a few games. I know people are saying he's not going very far. If he can find a way into playoffs, I still think he can do something. All right, I just
I don't think he's gonna go like 0-11. I feel like if he commits to like not running weird things
Blunder
and commits to
policy.
not over predicting, like that blunder policy made no sense to me when the Mew gets rock polish and agility. But you guys said he's very like prediction heavy. He made a team that he really shouldn't be prediction heavy. Like he can set up webs. Lopunnys kind of mindless. Card's kind of mindless. Mew can do anything, but like if a setup variant of Mew, it can just set up and just click and stab most of the time. Like Registeel, a good wall for him. Tentacruel, I can't say anything about Tentacruel. I don't like Tentacruel, but overall, I don't think the team should be prediction heavy. So I think if he calms down and stops doing that, he could go 6-5, 5-6, and have a decent run. Maybe make the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see him sneaking in as a bottom seed, but it definitely with this game it's gonna hurt because this game was in his hands to win and take a really a good win versus. I would say a lot of people aren't predicting him to win, but Noah's pretty much everyone. A lot of people expect him to at least make playoffs. So
if Noah doesn't get in his own head, Noah will make playoffs. I think.
Yeah,
I think for Taylor's season, he really has to start off strong because if you look at his last 4 games versus Duranda, James, Tay, and Slink, those are all I think pretty consensus playoff picks.
Oh, that's pretty rough.
So if he's not already at 6 wins by then, it's going to be really hard for him to get into playoffs.
He needs to be at least 5. I think I'm still not a huge James guy. You all know that, but I think if he can win one of those 4 and already get 5 wins, then there's a chance. But losing that game's really going to hurt. I think that could be the reason he doesn't make playoffs if it comes to it. So
we'll talk to James when we get there. I got a couple things to say about that too.
I mean, we can do that now. I don't really have a real order that we're going, and we're just kind of talking about shit we want to talk about. So
that's fine.
So we're going to Tay James.
Yeah,
we can go to Tay James.
Fuck Halucha.
This is classic Halucha winning. Like in D3, Halucha's just gonna win games, and James knew that. To pair that with a Mega Zam expanding force in terrain, he could bring 3 Mons every week, and I think he could almost win. That's how stupid those 3 Mon core is.
I guess I try to look at everything like from an objective standpoint of like how I would look at a team, when I'm building against it, and I don't think this team is great. But if you're looking at it through the lens of D3, being like no one knows how to prep for Halucha, like we saw with Volcarona last year, people just lose to it because it's Volcarona.
I don't think this team's good at all. I just think that those 3 Mons together.
Yeah, Psychic Spam Halucha. I can see this winning 7 or 8 games just because of that. I don't think he's like Halucha's not a very skilled Mon. It's pretty much the least skilled Mon ever if we're keeping it real. Well, or at least it's up there.
It's completely brain dead, yeah. And in lower divisions in leagues with not bad players, but players that are still like finding their learning curve and stuff like that, it's just gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no other way to say it.
Yeah, because it's like with Lucha, I think a lot of people in D3 they think, as long as I've got something to switch into, like flying and fighting, I'm good. And Tay had that with Zapdos, but like when you have Zapdos, you have to know to bring Jardy Berry because you know that Halucha is bringing Stone Edge.
Exactly, I knew 100%.
Nick has seen me talk about, I think, like 3 different times when I've faced opposing Haluchas when they didn't even have terrain. I'm like, I'm bringing Jardy Berry Rotom Fan because I'm not losing to Stone Edge.
Yeah. No. When I was prepping Noah when he played versus Nova 2 seasons ago in the playoffs, that was the thing. I said never send this Rotom out unless that Lucha sends out. It was Chardy Berry. It was Chardy Berry max defense. And that was his way to beat Lucha, and he stuck to that game plan and beat Lucha. That's how you beat it.
No, I agree. Unless you have a Mon. I mean, like, what's a hard Halucha counter that, like, is there anything really? I'm trying to
Generally, it's Zapdos.
Well, yeah, but it gets the Stone Edge, so... Fuck.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's no...
It's bulky enough with Chardy, but unless if you have something like Registeel with Chople counter, but then even then...
Like, Comfey or something that can OHKO with Draining Kiss.
Okay.
But, like, in Cage's case, the special defense boost nullifies that pretty much.
Hooch is so crazy. What the hell? Anyway, yeah, I like Tate lost, but I'm not gonna really hold it against him. I definitely would have brought Chardy because even in NCL we had it was Slink versus Will, and Will had a Hawlucha. Slink had Zapdos. The same exact thing happened. Hawlucha clicks Stone Edge into one. So yeah,
and Tay had pretty well control of that game for the
majority. and then it's just Hawlucha because he didn't have Chardy. So overall, I'm not worried about Tay. I don't, I am worried that my prediction of James missing playoffs is very wrong because I just looking at it, I think people are gonna struggle to beat the top, 3 or 4. So whatever. I don't, it doesn't really change my opinion of his team, but yeah.
Absol got a kill, so there you go.
Who?
Absol got a kill, so there you go.
Absol got it? Wait, he brought the Absol? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, Tay brought the Absol, got a kill.
Fuck yeah. That's my guy. Good shit, Tay. Anyway. Do we want to talk about Soninson or Son? I don't know how to say his name. Fucking Stallman. Stallinson.
Stallinson, yeah.
Let's do this as quick as possible. Sonison wiped the floor with Steph with Stall. That's about it. Steph didn't play good. Sonison played.
He brought Stall with Scarf Togekiss and then swiped with that.
It wasn't Scarf. It was Nasty Plot.
Was it Nasty Plot? I thought it was Scarf.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It was Plot.
Yeah, but that, I think that was the correct ring.
I hate this team. Fuck.
That's the thing. It did show that Sonison's not the most experienced player with Stall because there were definitely times where he should have switched to something else. Like what was it, Chansey versus Rillaboom? I think it was.
Yeah,
and he tried to go for counter.
It in. There was a bunch of times he left
you
shit
brought
in that made no sense.
You brought Amoonguss. You brought Skarmory. Those two easily come in much better. You don't need to risk the Chansey. So he needs to assess his quote unquote safer switch-ins with Stall. Because he's definitely not at the stage to play risky with it.
I don't think the counter.
But even then, the team is just good enough to win on its own.
Yeah. I don't think the counter Chansey was bad. I just don't agree with him staying in on the +2 Rillaboom on it.
Yep.
Well, he also brought a double counter, which I thought was weird.
What was the other? It was Skarm, right?
It was Skarm.
Yeah. It was if you have counter on Skarm, then why not just swap to Skarm on Rillaboom?
Yeah. Wasn't it recovery Chansey too, or something like that? Or
yeah.
No, it was mono counter Chansey, so no attacking or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the Quag, he had it low and he clicked Sludge Wave for literally no reason at all, and it lived on 1 and then recovered up. And I'm like, okay.
That was the play that I think really lost Steph the game.
Yeah. If there was any chance he needed just to kill that and just keep moving, but. Yeah, that was frustrating to watch. It felt like I wish I could just grab, or go through the screen and fucking it's time, because I love playing against Stall, but it was so frustrating to sit there and watch him agonizingly lose 1 by 1 and then have the Quag in his grasp and just no, you can live. So good for you, Soninson, fucking. I
don't think this will be Steph's defining moment this season, but I think Steph can pull some games out later on.
I mean, Steph, the battling talent, I don't know. He's not the worst battler I've ever fought, but he just makes plays and builds kind of weird, and his teams are never amazing. It just, I don't know.
I mean, Steph is in it for the fun, though. He said to me before, he doesn't care if he win, or he doesn't care if he really wins championships or whatever. He's just in it for us because he's good friends with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, yeah.
But I completely feel I want Steph to do better, and I think Steph can be a solid D2 coach if he really put the work in, but I mean, we'll see what he does.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there's any other crazy games to talk about. We didn't talk about Slink versus Hero. It was closer than the record or than the score was, and there was the double Toxic and Misty Terrain. But other than that,
who was it? Scott versus Garanda? I think that was a game.
Well, it was Garanda had upper hand early on, and then. What was the misplay he did that completely cost him the game? It was losing Excadrill, because then he lost his way to answer Clefable.
Yeah, he just sacked Drill and sacked the T-Tar. Let's keep going. I'm watching the replay real quick. And then Clef just set up and won after that, pretty much.
Yeah, because he had he was up 6-4 by turn 4.
Oh
and
yeah.
then he went hard drill on Virizion for no reason.
And who'd he played? Geronda. I mean,
Scott.
I guess
Scott.
that makes no. Wait, what?
I thought you were saying who was his opponent. My
Oh
bad.
yeah. I guess the no Victini makes sense, but because there's sand and Rotom Wash. All right, whatever, fine.
Well, the biggest thing with not bringing Victini is where is his Zard switch in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
that's true. You're not
Like,
wrong.
like the Dragapult, maybe?
Well, isn't that what
That's-
Theo did last season? He brought Victini. I think that's what it was. Something
That's
like
what I
that.
did in the mock, because when I mocked Geronda, I brought, I don't know if I still have the team or not, but it was AV Victini, and even then that takes like 35 from Fire Blast.
Yeah. It's a soft check if you want to call it that, but
Yeah, and that's like the only thing he had on his team besides Lantern, which that gets obliterated by Solar Beam.
Or like some random AV muck with Rock Slide, something weird. Like
Yeah,
yeah, no,
Oh.
I
to not see Zard do anything this game was
that's kind of
crazy.
frustrating.
That's kind of a
Yeah.
disappointment. Yeah.
I think he'll bounce back. He plays Steph next week. I think that's winnable for him, and
Mhm.
oh, his
I'll-
closing schedule is tough. Holy shit.
Before Geronda came into FBL, I did consider him one of the better BBPL coaches from like the lower division. Like he gave me all I could handle when we played in playoffs. Granted,
Mhm.
he broken rain, but I'm not going to fault him on his team because he built the team. It was a good team.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we could probably move on. We pretty much talked about everybody, actually. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, we can head up to
Yeah,
D2.
head up to D2. So, D2 transactions. I gotta whip out the phone because,
I
don't
know
want to do
Ace-
any editing. Hashtag lazy.
He's finally like he did. I don't know if he made it better, but he fixed the weirdness at least.
Ace, Andy did an overhaul.
That was it.
So,
Yeah, it's just Ace and
let's-
Andy.
Let's talk about Ace, I guess, first. Because his game was also interesting, if you want to call it that. So he dropped Volcanion, Inteleon, Skuntank, Hippowdon, and Machoke, equaling 44 points, and then picked up Infernape, Slowking, Galar, Togetic, Moltres Galar, and Wartortle, and he only picked up 43 points. I don't get it. Why the Wartortle?
That was
Budget.
yeah.
Yeah, but he had an extra point. Is there
He needs a water type.
Yeah.
is there no tier 2 water types?
Not really. Nothing that's better than Wartortle. I mean, Wartortle's not awful with Flip Turn now, but I mean,
It's bulky with Eviolite. I'll give it
my
that.
guy Luminion.
Hey, it's got Shell Smash.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
Maybe.
right.
I don't even know if I thought it maybe was just Blastoise. I don't know.
I don't know if it made Ace's team better, but it just
I mean, his offense is nutty, but his defense just seems.
Bad.
The Dracozolt seems way more random on this team now.
Yeah, no,
Without
that's
him.
what I was saying. Like, if you're dropping all these Pokemon, why not drop the Dracozolt? Like, I think the Hippowdon Lando makes more sense than Dracozolt being here. I don't know. It feels like an ace
Flying
team, I
types.
guess.
4 flying types.
Yo, that's kind of heat.
just now looking at it, he kind of doesn't like ice types at all now. Like even less than before now.
He doesn't have
Well, yeah,
a
the
rock
resists are Infernape and Wartortle.
Yeah, not really having a rock resist either.
No, he not really. He just doesn't have one. That's
No,
tough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it because I didn't want to be too sure, but yeah,
That's
yeah,
Wow.
not a rock resist. But like Celesteal and Lando can cover it, but like if you like get a Terrakion setting up, it's gonna be.
yeah. No, SD Tarek. Although he did just play the Terrakion, so God bless.
Oh,
I mean, he's also got
he played that.
Gym for Ape and stuff like that.
Overall, I
Yeah,
don't think it made him better. I mean, Ape is cool, but like this, it's still just not great.
I feel like this is a team. It's not a team I would draft, but it's like a concept I would draft. But I would have a water type.
And a better electric / dragon.
Yeah, I mean Dracozo's not a mon I'm willing to draft, to be honest. Like I thought about it, but like I ain't trying
Same.
to play the hustle games.
Yeah, exactly. I'll play with Durant, but not Dracozolt.
Like
Durant's
the
cool.
the Celesteal Diancie Lando core, it works, but it wasn't built around right.
Mm-hmm. I think we could talk about the game that they played. Fucking Lurantis got what? How many kills? Like 2?
3 or
It only got like 2, I thought.
It only got 1, but it pretty much did everything. You should never lose to Lurantis, and I will hold it against you, Ace.
With the Celesteela.
With a Celesteela. Yeah, no,
That's the kill I got with Celesteela?
No.
No,
Celesteela.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lurantis got a defog boost for anyone that didn't watch the game. It got defog boost from, or evasion boost from defogging on Diancie, and dodged like 3 Moonblasts.
Well, what I don't understand is why he kept leaving Diancie in on Lurantis.
Yeah, like, even if he fucking doesn't defog, he's going to kill you with Leaf Storm. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up this replay because there was a play I'm specifically going to point out.
I'm really disappointed in Ace. After, he had a good playoff run, kind of. He won a playoff game, and then just shit the bed completely in this game. That was pretty bad.
Okay, so it was turn 23. So an oncoming Leaf Storm's obviously coming in versus what was in the Diancie, I believe. Yeah, the Diancie. Yep. And
Hoganamaro killed him.
He goes into the Hippowdon to take the Leaf Storm. Granted, it took it very well, but Dracozone was at 100%. I feel like he had a better play to go into there.
Volcanion was 100%. That's even better than.
Yeah, Volcanion could have went into. That was.
Orlando was at 100%. Like anybody else but your wall could swap into the Hippo, or I mean not the Hippo, the fucking Lurantis. Like I don't know why you swap in your ground weak. Like everything else besides the Ancient Hippowdon, or at least would have like taken it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he swaps in Hippo.
You could have saved Hippowdon for the Jirachi, possibly the Volcanion, since it took the Leaf Storm so well, so it was especially defensive. And then the knocking off the Mega Kang with the Lando when James didn't have an Earthquake switch in left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get that play at all. 100%. I just, why? You're just over predicting.
Like, I feel like Ace still has a chance if he doesn't do that. Because, Lando's still alive, you can cycle the Intimidate on the Crocodile. It lives, Diancie could live the Earthquake from the Crocodile after the Intimidate, and, Ace could have had a chance, but, I think those 2 plays really cost him.
No, I agree. I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time on it. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good breakdown. You know what? Good.
You guys want to go to Andy's match?
No.
We can talk about the transactions first.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the other transactions. So it was the first one was Ace, and then the second one was Andy dropping Mega Gardevoir for 16, Mence for 15, Xurkitree for 10, Mudsdale for 8, Colossal for 7. That's 56
And he only
points.
picked up 6 mons. I don't understand how that worked.
Wait.
What?
How did
Because he dropped Guard, Mence, Xurkitree. Okay, never mind. I'm stupid.
Oh.
I thought I'd read it
wrong. He picked up Mega Alakazam, Garchomp, Thundurus, Huntail, and Chimecho.
He basically did what Brandon did, is just made his team so top heavy so he doesn't have to build every week. That's my guess, at least.
Yeah.
I would say not to build every week, but I mean I'm happier with the team's top than it was before.
I think this team is better, sure. But the team before was awful, so I mean his hazard removal is still, it's what now, just Thundurus?
F, yeah.
I mean he still doesn't have a swap in for Mega Glade, so yeah.
And the swap in went from no one to Thundurus. So
yeah. Damn. It gets ice. It gets
hoping it's not Zen for Toxapex. Anyway,
yeah.
He
played
awful versus Nick.
Team is literally
I thought he played great.
I thought he didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I think he played very, very terribly.
So basically, playing in this match, it's he didn't predict. Every time he attacked what was in front of him. So I knew turn 1 it was Scarf Mence when he didn't Dragon Dance. What else? Because I wasn't risking no Scarf Mence, and then he swapped out immediately. And then I find out that it's Scarf Virizion later, so I didn't really understand that. Yeah, he clicked on what was in front of him the entire game, so...
Yeah, that's a pretty good recipe to lose to Nick. He's been around the block a few times, so I think you got to make a prediction or two. But I don't know. Theo's theory is being proven right more and more every day. Of he was very carried by Volcarona, which that's a mon that you can just click on whatever is in front of you. So I don't know. I'm not gonna hold out hope. I don't think this is a very good team.
No, I think the team's better, but I don't see Andy winning games continuing to play like that.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny he swapped Mega Gardevoir into Mega Glade, and Nick was like, all right, well, I'll take that.
I mean, I couldn't have had poison. Like, I could have been running some weird set, but like, when I saw Mega Gardevoir, I put Poison Jab on immediately because I'm not risking that. I hate Mega Gardevoir, so I'm getting rid of that the second I get there.
No, I feel it.
I mean,
to be fair, the team,
everybody but the fucking Mens, so.
What are you saying?
Yeah. I was just saying, like, the team lacks, like, a solid Gallade answer anyways.
Mm-hmm.
At least defensively.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys even think he wins 2 games? I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't see 2 wins.
Maybe versus, like, maybe versus Matt E, maybe versus Brandon, maybe versus Buxton. But
maybe versus Skylar, maybe?
Maybe.
I could see it versus Skylar just because of how bad that team is.
Yeah, actually, let's go to that. I think that's more interesting. That game and the roll, or just whatever happened with the Slowbro. I wasn't there, but I saw the aftermath.
I'm pretty sure that was a system glitch because there's no possible way to get that damage roll without a crit.
That's what I.
Okay, so what happened again? I'm still confused.
What happened is that.
No, Jake. Jake was talking. We'll let him go.
So, the Slowking went for the Future Sight, and then as Ninetales, I think, switched in, then Ninetales went for Aurora Veil. And then because of basically her answer to Slowking was Amoonguss, went to Amoonguss, should have only taken about 40 with Aurora Veil up of the Future Sight, but it took 75 and died. And if you look at the calcs, because it was a max Fizdef Slowking, is that versus a max Fizdef Amoonguss, that damage rate should only peak at about 43.
Through the Aurora
Veil. And like I said, it did 75. And if you look at a crit damage, that is the only possible way that damage happens. And I labbed it out myself that like maybe Future Sight acts weird, is that if it is called before Aurora Veil goes up, that it ignores it when it comes back down. But
you know what? I think that's probably it.
No, it's not, because I tested it myself that way and it did 40 for me. So it literally, I think, was just a crit through Aurora Veil. For whatever reason, the system did not report it as a crit.
Okay.
Because I tested every order, every angle for like 30 minutes of Aurora Veil and Future Sight working together, and it worked exactly how I expected it to every time I did it.
That's so weird.
So we're just assuming it was a crit. Okay.
That's the only answer I see possible.
It was max defense Slowking.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I had an Intega's team. Yeah. Okay.
And judging by the spread of the Amoonguss.
What's that?
Are we gonna report that to the sports channel, the Discord?
It could. I mean, it's literally just the system not saying a crit through Aurora Veil, but it's like it had done that before earlier in the game, so it's not like all crits through Aurora Veil. It was literally just for that once. I don't know if it's. I don't know how it would work in between that, but that's the only way I see it being a possible bug that way.
That's so odd.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I've seen glitches on Showdown before, but nothing like that.
Thankfully, I don't think it was that game breaking. I think we're all confident Skylar was going to lose that game at that point.
That game was over anyway.
Yeah.
Which losing to Nintega, who was one of the worst teams, I think most of us would. I mean, just depends who you ask. I think it's one of the worst teams in D2. That's a pretty tough look overall.
I mean, both teams are probably worse than D2.
Yeah, but if Skylar's losing to that team, I can't see her making playoffs.
That's fair.
I don't know.
I think Skylar is better than some of the competition in D2, but that team's awful. Yeah.
No, I think she's a better battler than a lot of them, but
I don't see her winning games with this team. Yeah.
Unless Cart can get a sweep, or Lop just doesn't have answers, which every team should. It's going to be very difficult for her to get in positions to completely outplay an opponent.
Yeah, pretty much.
I kind
But
of
it's not
agree.
like this team can really net offensive pressure outside of Cart and Lops. As long as you have those two checked, you're pretty much covered. As long as you can break through slower Amoonguss.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like. Well, she has a small defensive core and then a small offensive core and then screens, and that's pretty much what you go through. And that's, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty easy to build for. The team's not that great. I think we can move on though. So that definitely is interesting though. What do we want to talk about? We want to talk
All right,
about Paul and the Bronzong.
I was gonna say Paul and the Bronzong. Yep.
So
Okay,
in the-
okay.
Yeah, you
I
can
just
go.
want,
You
like,
can no. Let's let
Okay,
James
so I
go.
love Paul, and if he reads this, I love him so much. So I want you guys to know, originally the Bronzong was worse than it is now. I didn't know he swapped to this. Okay, I told him to swap it to something else, and he didn't listen. But what the Bronzong was before this set was it was weakness policy, mono psychic, rest talk. So
Felix, you and Zaru. Okay.
So that's what it was originally, and he was talking to me about how he doesn't have a lot of answers for Bronzong, and I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but like this is like your defensive presence for this team. I think you need the HP. Like I don't care if you keep rest talk, that's fine if you want to keep the HP, but like put lefties or something. Like I had to beg him to not put weakness policy on this thing. I was like, it's fine. And then he's like, okay, I'll change it and I'll change the moves. And I said, you can keep rest talk if you want. I don't mind. I'm just saying, like, you should not go weakness policy. I didn't know he changed. Like, he didn't show me afterward, so I didn't know that he went Calm Mind Earthquake or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Well, that was the thing
So
is me and Theo were like fucking dying in DMs, seeing that set and like we were like, I'm pretty sure James told like I thought you told me like you helped him make the set, so I'm like, there's no way James came up with this. This is not a James set at all. So I could not fucking believe that. And then it should have won. What's crazy is he won the game. The game was over, and then he flinched him down with 3 dark pulses in a row, and
Yeah, that was funny.
that was pretty bullshit. I'm not gonna,
This
Paul got the Paul factor back on him, so maybe it's a little overdue from last season.
So
But
this is the third time Brandon and Paul have played against each other in 2 seasons. I have yet to see a clean match out of these two versus
yeah, no,
each other.
they hacks the fuck out of each other every time. It is never
not even
good.
like one against another. It's like both are awful on each side.
But somehow that set almost worked. So shout out to Paul. That's my man. He sacked the arrow for like no reason and really fucked
yeah,
himself over.
I don't know why he did that. I don't know. I was like, why? Like I get it, you eat the earthquake, but like you had answers. Like I don't understand why you stay in against it. Like you're not doing anything to make us Steelix. I don't know.
Paul's start was awful, but
I think he recovered after that pretty well. And,
No, he did pretty well after that. Yeah.
Was it Banded Darmanitan?
yeah, it was.
Then I don't know why you didn't click Flare Blitz.
That's what I was saying, dude. I could.
Vaporeon's still taking 50, and you can gauge the damage on Vaporeon, and you
That's
have
what I was saying, and it was Spadef. It would have fucking died.
Yeah, like, I think Paul does play in his head a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, similar to what you guys think about Taylor. If Paul can change that, I think Paul's, he can make playoffs in D2. But
There is something there. I don't care what anyone says. Paul has
His team is
potential.
also like
His
his
team is good.
Yeah, it's like a Dragapult, like Arrow, Nidoqueen. He played Nidoqueen. He actually played Mantine, I think, pretty well. Regileki's kind of click electric move, like killed ground, click electric move. I think like if he can get into situations where like one Mon just sweeps, I think he can like just start winning games.
I think this is a game that. Oh, you can go.
I was just gonna say the defensive core is nuts. Like Nidoqueen, Tang, Bronzong, Mantine, Florges. That's just an annoying core to begin with.
For sure.
And then the offense is pretty good too. And then 2 bench warmers.
1 bench warmer, absolutely right there. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's a game he's really gonna want to have back though, because he's playing you next week, and I love you, Paul, but I'm not picking you to win that game. So it's gonna be tough starting 0-2. You haven't played Theo yet. Monster played really well, so that's probably gonna be a tough one. I'm hoping he can get to at least 7 wins. That's the goal, but we'll see.
Possible.
What makes me so mad? I'm sorry, Nick. You can go. But like, what makes me so mad is that I guess he didn't know at the time, but like that Mantine walled the shit out of that fucking Steelix, so it didn't have a rock move.
Yeah.
So I
I
didn't show it, but fucking like he swapped out every time the Mantine was in. So I assumed.
I don't think it had a rock move. I think it was heavy
Yeah,
slam, earthquake,
Body press.
body press. Yep.
Body from his top.
I think we can
The
move on.
gyro
Then. We
ball.
want to talk about Theo versus
What's body
Monster?
press even for?
That's a really good question.
I guess song.
You guys want to save Theo and Monster for last? We can go to Buxton and Matt.
Okay, yeah,
That
sure.
sounds good.
Buxton versus Matt. I mean, it was all right. I feel like Cinderace finally did something in a league, so shout out to my boy. Didn't miss Pyro because he wasn't being coached or trained by me. He just Matt kind of threw it away a little bit. I don't know.
It was pretty much Buxton won the weather war. Like, once Gigalith went down and Torkoal was still alive,
I thought he let Gigalith die so early, and then it just kind of fucked him over.
Cinderace
Yeah,
just
definitely.
anymore.
That's what I was saying, though. This game wasn't super entertaining because, it was just weather war. And then, he let the Gigalith die like turn 8 or 9, something like that. Very, very early, and just kind of, didn't like that.
Turn 9.
So I think, honestly, I think we could just move on. I really don't think this is that great of a game.
Not much to talk about. Buxton won. That was about
But
it.
Theo versus Monster. This was probably a surprise game of the week. I don't think anyone really expected this one to be like that crazy, but
No, not in a million years did I expect.
it was
Monster.
a good fucking game.
Oh,
I was
definitely.
in call with Tristan. We were talking about it, and James, you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there with you.
Yeah. And we're fucking. I had his paste, and we're talking about it. And then when that Urshifu got paralyzed, I was like, I think fucking Theo loses. But my Ambipom set came through. AV, you'd love to see it. And it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. Anyone else got anything to say? Or
I think Monster made some like really, really good plays, but I also think he made some like really weird plays. But like a lot of the sets were really, really cool. Like the Primarina, just Theo had nothing for the whole game. Like he had to work around that so hard. It was nuts.
Well, I told him about Parish Song before the game even started. Like I literally told him like that's probably when we did mocks, that's what I had, and I told him just watch out for that. If you sub, like if he brings that in on you as you sub, probably don't stay in because he's gonna fucking Parish Song, and then he did, and I'm like, okay, cool, awesome, but overall, Theo didn't play amazing in this game, but I think it was entertaining, so I don't really care.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
The one misplay Monster probably made was late game when he clicked Whirlwind or Whirlpool on the Lele. I thought he should have really just clicked Flip Turn to keep the momentum. I think he kind of pulls the game out if that happens, but I mean, I wouldn't know what Theo does after.
Yeah, that's fair, but I do agree 100% though. There was no reason to Whirlpool because it wasn't going to break the sub. All right, Jake, you want to go? You haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, I think just like the big narrative of the game, I think we were all really impressed with how Monster played because I think most of us were really expecting Theo to just kind of walk in, win, and kind of go on about his day. Is that Monster showed great improvement, I think, as a player from last season to this.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think anyone really was considering him to be like a playoff threat, but if he continues to build upon like this week, he could definitely easily be in contention.
Dude, that was what I was saying last season. I thought me and him were gonna do it really well in D2, and obviously I had a good season, but yeah, he was building right before his games, and he just didn't really care that much. And if he tries, I mean, he's got like the battling potential to win games. So I'm looking forward to it. He battled his ass off in this one, so good for him. I'm happy for him.
And theoretically, I mean, if he plays around the same level as he did against Theo, he could be walking in as 3-1 into week 5 versus Nick, because he's got Matt, Ian, and Pega and Ace. So
yeah, he can beat Matt. He can beat Nintega. I think he can beat Ace. Yeah, so I mean, if he goes in 3-1 versus Nick, he probably doesn't win that game. But then every game after that's winnable for him if he plays like he did versus Theo. And
easily.
I saw like 8-3. I think is a decent ceiling for him.
I just want to say though, again, Nick, there's not a lot of Mega Glade answers, so
that's true. This team gets 6-0 by Mega Glade. Wow, shocker.
Not my fault. They let it drop for pick 12.
That's fair, honestly. I mean, I think we can move on to D1.
Yeah, we can.
Let's talk about D1. I think there's a certain
more
game
transactions.
We got to get transactions. I mean, do we want to just do mine first, I guess, and then we could talk about me versus
Harris?
Yeah, let's go.
And then Yeah, because it's like 4 teams.
So I made the transactions of dropping Tentacruel for Alolan Muck and then Audino for Absol. Absol was just because I wanted my mascot, got to get my boy. And then Muck was because for the game I got 6-0'd by a psychic or a mono psychic move Mew. So yeah, it was fun. I think I played decent in the beginning, but I did not expect the Mew at all, and
you didn't have anything for it. You just needed to have the time to get it in, and then I just kind of won at that point. There was nothing really I think you could have done.
Yeah.
As soon as that first sword power went up, it was kind of.
When I saw it was a cosmic power, I knew it right away. That was probably over.
It was just a classic Mew beatdown, pretty much.
Like
yeah, you did have a lot of momentum early game, but once the Mew had a chance to get in, it was just kind of over.
Mm-hmm. I'm not beating myself up too much. It really sucks because it looks really bad. But yeah, I think I played well in the beginning. I'm still confident I can win some games and give myself a chance at playoffs. Definitely not going down without a fucking fight, that's for sure.
Whoever did Mystery's doc also messed up. I think it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, you guys, instead of putting deaths, you put kills for everybody. You got to fix that.
Where?
That was not me.
Where?
On my personal page, it says that like everyone has a kill.
Kills instead of deaths.
Who did that?
It's automatically updated. I don't.
Oh no, it's that's a coding error on my part.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah. I meant to say something last night. I saw it and I kind of chuckled, but that was about it.
Is it like others? Nope, just yours.
Yeah, it's a coding error for whatever reason.
But yeah, I think the changes are good. I mean, like, I really wanted to use Tentacruel, but I needed a fucking Dark type very bad.
Well, it gives you a Dark type, and it gives you a good solid poison swap in, which is really nice for this team. Because like you had Tapu Koko and Tangrowth, and then you had Skarm, but Muck gives you a good special wall, I think, on this team, which really helps.
Just better Tentacruel, probably.
Yeah.
I don't like Mono Water Keldeo, but yet again, I'm not going to complain about it.
I didn't like it either, and I was looking for ways to somehow get another water, but I just, I couldn't without dropping my Uxie.
Yeah, you'd have to drop the Uxie for it. I think that's the only really way.
The Pawnee Yard for a Wartortle.
I mean, I guess. I guess I could do that, but I don't think I'm ever bringing Wartortle. I'm just keeping it real. So, I mean, maybe if it comes to it, then sure.
You can drop Uxie for Inteleon and be like the rest.
I won 8 games with Mono Steel Cart. I guess I did a Bisharp too. I know that was D2 as well, but I think I can work with Mono Water Keldeo. It's fine. It just had horrible matchup versus Harris with Toxapex and Thundurus and
just Toxapex. Nah, it just can't be Toxapex.
There's just nothing I could do.
Yeah, call 9.
Oh, you're right. I mean, that was on there originally, but I felt like, I don't know, he was just going to go to Thundurus and kill me. But, yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm looking forward. I play Carboni this week.
What?
We want to go to...
Taunt Combine.
What, James?
Who do you want to go to?
We can go to James's changes and talk about him and Tristan's match.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we're still on the topic of Harris. We can go over his changes.
Oh, yeah. You're right, yeah.
I forgot Harris made changes.
So Harris made changes before he was supposed to, actually. Fun fact. But he did Thundurus Incarnate he dropped it for Tornadus T. He dropped Kangaskhan for Oricorio, Grottle for Porygon.
Oh, Porygon.
I mean,
it looks like that's cool. No, go ahead.
I don't get the... I like Thundurus on this team. I thought it was fine. I think he just saw that Torn was available and kind of immediately wanted to go get it. And that's fair, but I like Thundurus on this team.
He's got Oricorio Pom Pom as electric now. Woo!
I know Torn was on his original draft plan. This honestly just reminds me of his team last season. It's so top heavy. 4 bench warmers. Obviously the Clefairy could come, but I don't see a reason to bring a Clefairy. Mm-hmm. I don't care how. In Jake's words, it's literally a fairy that hates knockoff.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's the only fairy that gets pissed off by knockoff for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just the top 3, top 4, top 5.
You should bring it this next week. Sorry.
Jake, what were you saying?
No, you can go ahead. I was just saying the top 5 really, really good. Everything else is trash. I'm still not a believer in Zarude.
I'm not a believer either, and I think Rhyperior's super situational, so... Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think Rhyperior is a good mon. Obviously, loses to grass, loses to water, but like he's got the mons to work with it. Zarude, I can't say anything yet. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's awful, and I think it does work with his team.
Okay, that's fine. And
He should bring Clefairy just against. I just said he should bring Clefairy against Jake, so he could do Clefairy, Clefable, because it'd be funny.
Well, I told him that in the podcast. I think the last time was if this was a Clefable on this team would be fucking great. But
Yeah, he wanted Clefable.
that makes sense. Wait, who has it?
I do.
You,
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
I mean, if Tristan would have taken that Heatran from Jamal and then Jake, I mean, Harris could have ended up with Clef.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
And now
disappointed I
I got
lost,
it.
but
Woo.
it's whatever. Harris is a really good battler, and I think if we were to rematch, I think I'd have a decent shot. I have a few ideas of what I want to go with, so we can go on to the big story. I think of D1, or at least one of the bigger stories was Tristan versus James. It I think lived up to the
Jake and Matt next. Woo. We don't need to talk about this.
So we had a trade, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I gotta go look for it. So James traded away Incineroar and Registeel and welcomed in Heatran and Mesprit from Tristan. And then Tristan dropped, what was it, Grimmsnarl, Incineroar, Gligar, and Spectrier for Lando Eye, Zoroark, Rillaboom, and Florges. And then James dropped Torntea for Latios, Mesprit for Umbreon, and Sableye for Mienfoo. So yeah, the game was pretty much in James' hands. I believe it was probably going to be like 4 or 5-0, and then everything happened where he missed, I think, 3 hurricanes.
I missed the Focus Blast and 2 Hurricanes.
Yeah, so that was cool, and but it was fair because rolls. I'm a type of person that I don't think rolls are hacks because when you
No.
every time you go into clicking that move, it's going to do a certain amount to a certain amount. So if you don't put yourself in position to where it's going to kill, then that's more or less on you. But if you miss a move, you put yourself in position to win as long as you hit it. So that's just how I go about it. People think
Well, it's also like RNG. You have no control over it whatsoever. Like, you don't even know what's going to happen with rolls. It's more of like, that it has a possibility to hit there. Maybe it's unlikely, but that like that possibility is there. That's the same thing I kind of think with accuracy moves. It's the same thing's kind of there, but at the same time, you don't know when it's going to miss. It's just RNG. Like, it happens whenever. But
You can play around rules. You can't play around misses. That's how I always see it. And like, I completely agree with you guys. Like, I hate missing out on rolls all the time, but like at the end of the day, I'm not really gonna complain too much about it. Like, if I lose because of a hurricane miss, I'm gonna be like really mad. If I lose because of a roll at the end of the game, I'm gonna be like, I lost the roll.
Unless you get the absolute, unless something does 99 to 115 and you get the 99 roll, then I think you have a right to be upset. But
yeah, you can be upset about that, but wasn't the roll like a 50-50 sort of?
Yeah, and then the other thing is the Incineroar clicking knockoff on the Spectrier was also a roll. So
yeah, to kill. It was a roll to kill.
If he gets the roll as well on the knockoff, you just lose your Spectrier and the game's over anyway. So yeah. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that rolls cost, or that you lost because, or you would have lost because of rolls. It's it's part of the game. You both got a roll there, and I think James played well enough to win that game. I'm like, Tristan's my boy, but I think that game was kind of a beatdown for more or less than 20, 30 turns, and then some things just don't go your way, and James walks out with a 1-0 loss.
Yeah,
I definitely think that. Yeah, I definitely think James had that. James played better. But
I played a game without retarded mistakes this time. It's all good.
Happens.
Well, I did make one that Mystery kind of knows about. It wasn't
I think you should have protected on the
on the
Vaporeon. There was no reason. You had a wish up. Just protect and get your wish back, and you can't lose.
So on the turn that I wished, and then he kept spamming Earth Power with Heatran. I never revealed it, so you guys probably didn't know, but I did have Protect on Vaporeon. I didn't press it there because I didn't want. I I figured he'd think I'd press protect and then swap into like Zapdos or something like that. And I didn't want like that free swap into Zapdos for him to start setting up and then have to rely on like a Scaldborn or perhaps a Burn. I can't fucking talk. Like a sub. Like if he did it for like sub doesn't break. I don't think it can, but still. I just didn't like. I guess I should have played for a crit, but I wasn't thinking like a crit would happen, so I just pressed Scald there just to like make sure I didn't lose any momentum. But I guess that was kind of my fault.
I'm gonna watch it again real quick to see the situation.
I mean, in general, James had control over this game for the most part up until it was just Zapdos versus Torn, and then it just went downhill.
Yeah, and Tristan got every miss he needed. I mean, didn't he miss a Magma Storm or something like that?
Well, he missed the Fire Blast
Blast
on the Torn, but then Torn in turn missed the Focus Blast, so it evened out.
Yeah, okay.
And then he got the burn in return as well.
Yeah, which really sucked because then
it allowed Zapdos to set up.
Mm-hmm.
Had it not been burned, he would have at least had to attack it, and it wouldn't have been able to get to like +3.
Yeah, that's just lame. I don't know. There's no other way to say it. I think Tristan should be thanking his lucky stars that that game wasn't even a 5-0. So it happens. That's just the game we play. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not much else to say.
Yeah.
Going back to the Vaporeon play, Protect could have been the play, but I totally agree with you, James. But I don't think he was going to sack I don't think the Heatran was switching out. I think Tristan kind of accepted defeat at that point, and then got a second chance.
I agree. I just was like terrified of that Zapdos still. I didn't want.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there was reasons for that. Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't know, but for me though, like you're clicking Skull. I guess if he's trying to catch the Protect and he goes Zapdos, it feels like such a because if you do click Scald, like you've been spamming it. If you click Scald and he gets burned, it's no chance. Game's over. Wrap it up. I don't know.
Did Vaporeon live the Shadow Ball coming in after the Spectrier if it kills?
Yeah, no. If it kills the Incineroar, we did the calcs. Vaporeon actually did live.
Okay, I thought so. I heard it was specially defensive. So okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad game. It just, at the end, it sucked. So, we can move on if you guys are ready to go. There wasn't a whole lot of other great games. We can talk about,
Did anyone else make transactions other than those 4?
No.
No, yeah, it was just us. So, we can talk about
I guess
Kyle beatdown.
The only other, we've got 3 beatdowns and another close game.
Who's the other close one?
Will Eon.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
I guess there's really not a whole lot to talk about. I think Will played kind of bad-ish. I don't think
when your Galate answer is a Volbeat.
Yeah, like that shouldn't. When I remember it was match discussion. Someone said, "What's the switching?" or "Why was the Volbeat there?" And he said, "For the Galate," and I was like, "Okay."
He has the Zapdos.
Before, Mister, you remember?
Yeah, but seeing it in text felt different, especially from the person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But again, he has a Zapdos.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, James.
Sorry, for the first, I helped Will build for this. We both helped each other build. So I had, I didn't have a hand in the Volbeat. He built the Volbeat. It was so funny, though. I have to tell you guys. So I'm at work, right? I'm tired. If you guys don't know, I work at Amazon. I work 12-hour shifts. So I work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. So I'm halfway through my shift, and I swear to God, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I get a text from Will in all caps. I pop on my phone, and it goes, Volbeat is the Galate check. And I'm all right, Will, what are you talking about? And he explains it to me, and I'm okay, that's cool and all. But then, I try to convince him to go Jellicent, especially since I was you don't have a big answer for Tapu Fini, just spamming stuff, Scald and things like that, which we kind of saw Moonblast. He just kind of spammed it at one point, and it did way too much to things, which was one of the big reasons why I wanted him to run Jellicent. I mean, at the end of the day, it was whatever. I told him the Volbeats, whatever. We were also planning to run Rain Dance Zapdos to hit Hurricanes, Thunders, and then it was cool for Barraskewda as well. But yeah, other than that, I don't. It's just I think he's
Rain Dance Volbeat with Prankster.
It was rain beat. It was rain. Like it was originally Rain Dance Zapdos, and then it was like okay, since because I couldn't convince him to not keep couldn't convince him to not keep the Volbeat. It was Rain Dance Volbeat, but I think he took it off because of like Roost or something.
All right. Yeah, that was tough to watch. I thought Will just didn't play very well, and that wasn't a good look. I don't know. What do you guys think?
About the same, yeah. I didn't like Barraskewda this matchup, to be honest. I thought, like James said, I thought Jellison was better. Yeah, the Volbeat was funny. That's about it.
I mean, theoretically, the Barraskewda could have went in as long as you get Feeney out of the way, but until then, like...
Well, it had Poison Jab, too, so it just needed to be chipped.
Poison Jab, okay. Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
It's like, so it did do work, quote unquote, but yeah, you need a chip, and there was a lot that needed to go into it.
It was like that thing needed to clean up, and like we kind of knew that, but I don't know why.
There was no Entei switching on like Will's entire team.
That's also why I think Jellison needed to be there. But I didn't even think of that. Honestly, I was tired from work, and I didn't even remember Eon had an Entei, so it's kind of my fault for not seeing that as well.
No, I think that's fair.
I thought this is probably Eon's best played game in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he played great. He played well.
I'm super proud of how Eon played. I thought building was a lot better than usual. And I still think this team's really good, and I think it's kind of slept on. And honestly, if Eon plays this way versus like Jamal Harris, Kyle, Jake, he's not going to win all those games, obviously, but like he could definitely make playoffs. And for a player who's been borderline relegation for 3-4 seasons, I think that's a really positive note for him.
I think he can beat Matt, and starting 2-0 and then going into the fucking gauntlet of what is it?
Kyle Harris, Jamal.
Yeah, Kyle Harris, Jamal. And then it doesn't get any easier really after that, James, Tristan. And then it kind of cools down, but I think that's a huge win for him. I really do.
Yeah, it was definitely a good confidence booster for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he could beat Matt like even convincingly and then somehow get out of the gauntlet after that 3-2, I'd be ecstatic for him.
I liked his career SmackDown. That was kind of cool.
I'm confident it's not going to happen now because I do believe in Eon's team and I do think he could be potential playoff. But there's a part of me that does kind of want him to fail. So when I play in Week 11, I can say welcome to D2.
All right, we could talk about that night because I think I got a little misunderstood. Me and Nick talked in DMs for like a fucking hour after that, just vibing out. But I just, I'm not a fan of. I think if you shit talk, you should say it. Like I don't like. It felt like someone, when someone told me to say it, and then I said who. He said they told me not to tell. That seemed like some real pussy shit. I don't know, man. I understand there was a little miscommunication and stuff, but it was just,
We never told Eon to say that. I said, yo, you got to give Will a good game. Will's been kind of high and mighty, thinking he's going to have a good D1 run after the speed tours. Mm-hmm. And I said, you need this win for your confidence. You need to show people this team's good. And I think Eon did that. And then I think he went a little extra on it, like, oh, welcome to D1, buddy. Good job. But I don't think Eon meant anything by
we talked in DMs too.
It's a very un-Eon thing to say.
That's why I was so like, wait, what? Because it felt like that as soon as I saw that, I'm like, someone's talking for him. And then when I talked to him in DMs, I got that same indication, and I'm like, okay, so who's got a little issue with the people that came up? And that's why I made the comments I did. It was more or less to see who I could provoke, and then I really thought it was Kyle because he got a little salty in match discussion. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just the type of dude. If I'm gonna shit talk, I'm gonna say it. So I thought it was cool that Eon, he has confidence, and I'm happy for him. I still plan on giving him the meat in week 10, no homo, but
no homo. Damn.
We'll see how it goes. Anyway, any other games we want to talk about? Because the rest of them were blowouts. So
we can talk about the championship rematch. That was highlights.
That was just a slow beatdown.
I think Carboni showed why was the Moltres not there?
Yeah.
Well, he said he didn't want to deal with Stone Edge on Mawile, which then
that's fine, but like you didn't have a Mawile switch in. Like I'd rather risk the Rock Slide than bringing a stack attack as your counter to a Mawile.
Yeah, I think Carboni prepped very poorly. I think he played maybe a little bit better than he prepped, but not even. And yeah, that was tough to watch. He just never had control or really any footing at all. So I think everything we talked about in the first episode really came true.
Honestly, I think this was probably one of the worst preps in week 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, did the Dragapult even hit the field? Oh no, it did one. It hit the field once and just left the field.
Mawile has 4 kills still, and Articuno has 2. Okay, all right, his boy getting some time. Love to see it.
Next week though, Jamal and okay, so I'll talk about that after the other match.
Oh, with the Kyle Robert.
Yeah, so let's go to that one.
I think this is what I was talking about when I said I understand like that. Look, this is not going to happen every week to Robert. He's not going to run into, offense that is absolutely insane for his offense. But this is what I was talking about with his team, where it just. The Metagross not being there made no sense, but his team is really tough to like switch into really, really strong moves.
Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, I know. So Harris and I go back and forth on this a lot. That he says Primarina is not a good bulky water, and that game kind of proved it. Like Primarina, it can Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, but like as a bulky water, it just doesn't work. And I felt he needed a bulky water in this match, and
he did not have one. No, I get what you're saying with it's bulky in the sense of like it can sub, it can Calm Mind. It's like bulky offense.
It can like one hit. Like that's how it is.
But it's not like
it wasn't built
or Suicune.
It wasn't built to be like a bulky water this matchup. Like Calm Mind, you're in general. I think
I'm talking
in
about
general. I think it's fine.
I'm talking about his team in general. I think it needs a bulky water.
I think Prim can do that.
I don't know. I think this last game kind of proved it, though, that I don't know if he can.
Well, what I'm saying is he didn't bring Prim as like a natural bulky water set. He brought it as a setup set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm usually a fan of bulky Primarina sets, but I feel like the team needs a bulky water.
I wish he had a Wish Passer on this team that wasn't Komala. I don't know. It feels like he's maybe that away from being a really fun team, but Primarina can't recover. Like, wait, no, it has Draining Kiss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has Draining Kiss.
Like, I could see like a Rest Talk set being half decent versus Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Just Rest Talk, dual stab.
No, I could see that. I'm not a believer in Robert's team, and I love offense. It's something not exactly right there, so we'll see.
Like how you said, Jake, it was Calm Mind. I don't know why Calm Mind was the play when God of War Hyper Voice is there.
Exactly.
Yes.
No reason to be sub. 100% agree.
Just Rotom always gets the Volt Switch off on it. It's almost always going to break the sub.
Yeah, there was no way that Calm Mind was winning that game.
Speaking of not winning, Jake.
Hi.
So this game was bad.
Bro, this was a father-son game.
Bro, Matt played well in the beginning. He played okay. Like the psychic switch-ins were not there, and
I'll talk about that a little bit. I was fully expecting special Victini, but I was more so leaning that it would be Boots or maybe a Resist Berry, not fucking Specs. So like when I had like the whole dilemma of what am I going to bring as my 6th mon, and eventually just decided on Emolga to be a better like a 100% answer ish to Zeraora. Rachi was not brought, nor was my planned AV Starmie, which would have been completely fine. And because of that, when it did, I would have been fine with Zygarde because Specs doesn't Tuco my Zygarde set, but he got the Spedef drop, which I wasn't sure if it was Modest or Timid, and Modest could have gotten the roll to kill Zygarde, but after the low roll on Clef, I found out it was Timid, so theoretically I could have stayed in with Zygarde to get chipped.
Yeah,
but,
the roll really fucked him over, because if he kills Clef there, that game was really, really tough. But
yes.
That's why I think this game, I know you said it's father-son, Nick, but I think this game is, it is ironic. We were talking about a roll earlier with the Tristan James game, but this game is a roll away from being a lot closer.
Well, the thing is that roll, as timid, I think it legit is 50 to 60. Then he got 57 and 53, which is a mid-high and a mid-low.
Okay.
So I don't think that's bad at all.
I guess I didn't know the exact role. It just,
yeah.
when it happened, it looked really bad.
Timid,
I'm like, come on.
If I remember correctly, because it took me like, 10 minutes to do. I'm like, what the fuck is this, like, spread?
Yeah.
So I was, like, comparing it on Zygarde and Clef, and I was finally able to figure it out. That's like, well, if I let Clef go, I guess that's fine, because I was debating on whether or not to sack Zygarde, sack Savali, or sack Clef, because I need like Zygarde plus Silvally to kill Victini or like a round of rocks, because my Silvally was max Fizdef, Silvally Ghost because it never touched the field, and that does like 66. 1,000 Arrows did like 61 min.
Okay.
But basically from there, it's just like as long as I can position myself to get Zard in on Lurantis, I win this game 100%. So like at least at team preview, that was my thinking with that. But also the big thing that was for me is I prepped out of my ass for fucking Scolipede,
and he didn't bring
it. And he didn't bring it.
Yeah,
I
like
thought
went
it would
through.
Be here. I really did because of the Clef.
Yeah, I predicted like every set he brought because it's like, well, here's the optimal things he could bring, and then here's the semi-optimal that he probably is going to bring, and he brought most of the semi-optimal or suboptimal because it's like I fully expected Fizdef Altaria because that takes on most Zygarde sets and most Conch sets decently well. Also, if it's Fat Alt, you can use it as a soft check to Zard because Zard generally doesn't hit Altaria very well. Depending on the spread,
flying move.
like I would need Paul's Hurricane.
Yeah.
So it's like if it's defensive, well then Clef can take on a bit better. If it's offensive, then that's annoying. But because I was thinking it'd be defensive, especially offensive, I debated on bringing sub Zygarde, but decided not to. But then going back to dealing with Scolipede, for the longest time, my Belizard was substitute to get the sub like on the 50-50 if Scolipede is going to protect or not protect. But then 10 minutes before the game, I'm looking through options like, oh shit, it learns quick attack. What does that do? And that does like 70 to Scolipede. And then I see Dig and I'm like, wait, Dig beats both protect and not protect options on Scolipede.
I love the Dig. That's so heat. Because, all right, dude, I'm a fan of those kind of like bounce and dig. They have a place. All right, everyone's like, they're so ass. No, they're not. All right. Tristan refused to bring Bounce Hitmonlee versus Robert last year, and he could have won the game if he had it, and I'll die on that hill. He won't admit it, but I will die on that hill. Fucking, it is decent, because look, he's like, oh, they just switch. Okay, but then you outspeed after anyway. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, they switch, and then you get extra damage and hit them.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's why I went Dig, because initially I was looking at Fly, and I'm just like, well, it's the same reason with Dual Wing Beat, is I'm terrified if I'm going to miss.
Well, I ran Bounce, Power Herb, Alamola once to beat an Amoonguss. Like, the attack, like, obviously it was a meme, but, like, it would have worked if, I was playing Keegan. I think he, like, protected on it or something.
Bruh.
But
no, Jake became my hero that day. When I saw the dig, I was watching the replay. I didn't see it live. I was watching the replay. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. that
live was so funny.
Oh, my God.
No, they have their place in the game, yeah.
Yeah, no. I will die on that hill. I think there are worse options out there. Like, he just didn't run a move that could hit Venusaur, and instead of having bounce and just, what if you get a para too? Like, he switches out on the bounce and switches into, I can't remember who's on his team, Hydreigon, and gets parried. Okay, cool. Now you got a free para or just extra damage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, but.
Yeah, I guess to talk a little bit on Matt's team, just at least from my perspective, like I kind of said, what sets I was expecting. I think we're all still under the general consensus. It's not a very good team. I do think the matchup was at least a little bit even, just because of like I need my best Victini answers are like AV Starmie and Zygarde, and that's not exactly great when you can just Fusion Bolt or Glaciate both of those.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think Scolipede and Victini, if he brings the Scolipede, that game, I think it's super even, but without the Scolipede, I think it's a little bit in your favor.
I mean, I still didn't have to bring out the Sobali to deal with it, because unless if it's like Adamant Life Orb, I don't ever get 2-code by +2.
Okay.
And Clefable was still just as annoying, but the thing is, the Scolipede comes in free and Clef for the most part. But I spent like a good week trying to build this team, because I just had to weigh so many different options. Which is a good and bad thing because I'm in my head the entire time, but also I've got many different ways to deal with the team. It's just trying to narrow down on a team that I like, which is something I don't think I've really had lately. I think most of my teams, it's like, yep, these are the 6 I'm bringing. Okay, these are the sets. Let's go with it. It's that this is a lot more thinking prep than I think I'm used to, which is weird to say.
I also just noticed on your logo, the Wigglytuff has cheese on its head. I really appreciate
Yes.
that. Wisconsin.
That's been a staple since its incarnation.
I did not ever
Jake
see
has
that.
his
That's
own
very
merch
cool.
too. Jake has his own merch too.
I do.
Yo, plug the merch. Plug the merch.
Redbubble, search Wisconsin Wigglytuff. There's my shirt back from the 2017 March Madness.
Wow.
I still have 2 of those shirts.
All right, well, I think we can end it off there. Honestly, it was a pretty good week. There was a lot of blowouts in D1, which I think I was disappointed about. But other than that,
the D1 standings are hilarious.
Actually, we'll do that real quick. Just looking at it. So I lost 5-0, and I'm in 9th place, so you love to see that.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, there's 3 6-0s, a 5-0, and then Eon with 3. But then after, it's just, it is.
And the thing is that James should have probably all 5-0.
Yeah. Literally, we could have like 4 or 5. Yeah, we would have 5 5-0 pluses. 3 6-0s and 2 5-0s. That's kind of insane.
So we had the top 4 coaches all getting relative 6-0 beatdowns, and then we all play each other week 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think next week the breakdown will be really cool. I'm hoping, actually, it would be nice to get everybody from that top 4 in, but I don't want to go too D1 heavy, so we'll have to figure out who we want to get in here. But I think we can end it off there. It's been a good episode thus far. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Anyone else want to say anything?
I'm not beating Harris.
Shocker. James?
Yo, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm here.
I'm going 1-11.
What? You losing in playoffs?
What's the biggest cap?
I'm going
1-11.
1-11. So you're going 1-10, making playoffs with that, and then losing.
At 12th week.
Yeah. Shout out to Jake. I'm not winning.
Whatever. I am winning. I'll talk to you later. Take care.